In today's Bloons Tower Defense 6 video, we're going to be doing a tier list on every single Paragon, modded and non-modded. We're going to talk about their cost, their efficiency, how good they are, and we're going to rank them from best to worst. If you want to see more tier list videos, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The Elite Moab Crippler comes in at $650,000. This is an absolutely insane Paragon. It can hit anywhere on the map globally, stuns all balloons like Moabs, DDTs, so they can't go anywhere. It also has bouncing bullets, so the bouncing bullet bounces all over the place. This tower has it all. It's incredibly powerful, and it also doesn't have much lag just because of how the projectiles work, so you can go pretty late game with this. I think it's probably S tier, but for now we're gonna keep it top of A tier because it does, actually no, it definitely goes S tier because I think this thing is just like so powerful, does so much damage, and it has the ability to deal with pretty much everything. Glaive Dominus, which is a vanilla Paragon, it costs $400,000, and overall, there's better Paragons to go for, especially even with just vanilla towers as well. I'm probably gonna put it down for, in terms of Paragon, I'm gonna put it down in the C tier for now. When I say like C tier for Paragons, I'm not saying it's bad. All Paragons are ridiculously powerful. You know, a C or a D Paragon is still an incredibly strong tower, but in comparison to the cost efficiency and other Paragons, that's where it's going to be on the lower set. Next up, we have the Ray of Mad coming in at a whopping $1.7 million. You could literally get like 4 Paragons for the price of this bad boy. This thing just spews out rockets like it's nobody's business, okay? This thing is a Moab eating machine. This does so much damage. Now, here's the problems with it. 1, incredibly expensive. Very, very expensive. 2, lags the game because of so many projectiles and explosions. And number 3, still has a little bit of problems with smaller rushes of balloons, like giant rushes of ceramics and pinks and things like that. So with that being said, and with it being the cost, it's really not that great. It's flashy, it's cool, but it's expensive, and for now, it's gonna go in the D tier, and there you just have better options, okay? Fiery Doom, that's coming in at a $1.2 million, so not as expensive as the Ray of Mad, but still pretty high up there in the cost department. Now, you're going with the nice, beautiful tack shooter, so it builds into it pretty well. You know, you get to have every single different one, and it just looks amazing. Like, I mean, look at how beautiful this thing is. It just shoots all over the place, has beautiful, it's just, and if you have it on the right map for like balance or park path, it's gonna do a lot. But if you don't have a good map for it, and if you're not in the right spot, it feels kind of weak, especially for costing 1.2 million. I think we're gonna put it in bottom of C tier. Zero Kelvin is up next. This only costs $400,000, and once you get this guy, balloons aren't going anywhere. He stuns all the balloons, he freezes everything, he has the effect of super brittle, so all balloons take extra damage. This guy is an amazing support Paragon. Now, it's not going to be doing all the damage, but for only $400,000, which is one of the cheapest Paragons right next to the Glaive Dominus, it's just mwah. It's beautiful. I think the Zero Kelvin is like high B tier. Next up, we got the Apache Commander. They come in at around $550,000 for the upgrade. With the Apache Commander, you just have an army following you around at all times. There's like 6 or 7 helicopters, and all of them are as strong, or if not stronger, than Apache Prime. So you just have all these Apache helicopters that are purple flying around, absolutely wreaking havoc on the balloons. These guys are amazing, okay? There's so much on the screen, so many things happening that it can get a little overwhelming, especially in the later rounds, and a little bit laggy. But for the cost efficiency and how much power it brings to the table, it's definitely have to be in a high tier. It's definitely go all the way up into A in my opinion. I just think this tower kind of does it all. Good damage, it follows the balloons, it's global scale, it's just nice to use. Navark of the Seas for $500,000. This is the best Paragon in the game in my opinion. Like, Navark of the Seas is a vanilla tower, and it just does everything. It can instantly take out a fortified BAD balloon. It just constantly just absorbs everything. It just grapples in everything under BAD. So ZOMGs, DDTs, MOBs, MOABs, BADs, WAB, XYZ, ABCs, you name it, this guy's got a lasso and he's roping them in. Not to mention the flying spaceships around, and the fact that it is the coolest looking Paragon in the game. in my opinion, Navark of the Seas takes the cake, and especially it's only $500,000. Like, this thing has it all, and on top of that, it makes you a lot of money because of the bottom path for favored trades, for making all the money for that trade empire. Now, next up at $900,000, we have the Moab Executioner, and the name stands true. This thing eats balloons for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay? And some balloons for a snack on the side. This thing just destroys things, okay? Because it has the best of every single bomb shooter path. It has the recursive clusters that has allowed us to deal with all the smaller balloons, but every single little cluster is also the power of a Moab Eliminator that does bonus damage. You also get Balloon Crush, which allows you to do extra damage and stuns balloons. So this thing is amazing. Now, it doesn't have a lot of range and definitely gets overwhelmed very quickly, and it does cost $900,000. So there is some not great things to it, but I still think it's pretty good, and because of that, we're going to put it in the B tier. Ascended Shadow, the only magic Paragon tower in the game. Ascended Shadow is just awesome. Like, it just looks cool. It has a lot of really awesome things about it. I mean, you get the Master Bomber, which allows you to put on explosives. This thing is a boss-eating machine, okay? You get the Ascended Shadow, and the Lich Boss is out of here, okay? This thing is the way to go if you're looking to take out boss things or do boss levels, anything like that. But again, it's $600,000. That is really expensive, especially for getting only Ascended Shadow. You could be getting a couple of other things with that. Like, you could almost get a true Sun God Temple for that. But it's not top tier. I think it's just super duper high tier. And because of that, I think it's probably top of A tier. Bloons Incineration all coming in at $550,000. You like explosions? Do you like to see things just get blown up? Like, do you just love not be able to see your screen at all? This is for you, okay? But it runs into the same problem as the Ray of Mad, where it's just so much. It lags your game. It does so much damage and so much explosive, you can't even see what's going on in your screen. And because of that, I'm probably going to put that in the bottom of D tier. It's strong, but definitely have some better options. Coming up next is First Strike Commander at $950,000. So good. It's so good. It also has the First Strike capabilities, so any Moab or up that appears on the screen instantly just gets nuked by this thing. Anywhere on the screen just annihilates it. So you have a constant stream of bombs coming out from this. With having advanced intel, you have global range all over the map, as well as airburst darts. So this thing not only has constant explosions being shot all over the map, it also has its own little turret where it's going to be taking on balloons. This thing is a powerhouse all on its own. This is a great tower, incredibly powerful, definitely worth using. I'm going to put it in the bottom of A tier. Like, way above B tier, below A tier. So it's kind of like in the middle there, in my opinion. Coming in at $1,385,000 is the Never Missing Shredder. This thing all of the darts shoot out, and they also have the homing capabilities. So all the darts, and they zoom in on the balloons and just destroy everything. But it does cost $1.3 million, which is pretty expensive. But at the end of the day, it's also just so powerful. Like, this thing can get you all the way to like round 400 without even breaking a sweat. The one problem is it does kind of take up your whole screen with all of the darts, but it brings so much firepower that it doesn't really matter. And because of that, we're going to put it, this also goes into A tier. I know we got like a lot into A tier right now, but that's the best I can put it for right now. Coming in at one of the cheapest Paragon towers, the Apex Plasma Master, which was also one of the first, along with the Glaive Dominus, the start of the Paragons. It is really nice to have, okay? This thing does a lot of damage. It shoots out the balls that just go easy to work into. I think this is a really strong Paragon to get, but it's definitely not in the range of like the S or A tiers, but it's so cheap that it allows you to get it pretty quickly without dedicating your entire game to having to upgrade to it. So because of that, I think it's probably top of B tier, just because it's like, it's not the strongest, but it's very aware of that and makes it very cheap and affordable to get. And last, but definitely least, is Superb Glue Paragon. This guy, it's a Paragon glue gunner. I mean, what do you expect? Costs $600,000. And honestly, it did pleasantly surprise me when I used it. I was not expecting a lot, but it does a lot. It leaves glue on the track, it does a lot of damage, slows balloons, and overall, it's kind of like the Zero Kelvin, where it's like, it's nice to have and it adds a lot to it, but like, if I'm gonna be spending $600,000, why don't I just get a tower that's gonna pop all the balloons, right? Like, I think that's kind of where it goes. So the idea of buying it, just like, it's just like, why would I do this? Like, I can get anything else. Like, I could literally get any other Paragon. And because of that, it's definitely bottom D tier. And that's where that's going to stay. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to see more awesome tier lists in the future. You're awesome. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being beautiful. Thanks for being you. Bye.